Okay. Oh, some real important synchronicities and downloads. I'm gonna try to make this quick because there's so much, and y'all need to hear this shit. Okay, so, okay, Archangel Revelations and Prophecies. He's been talking about this rose thing. Sorry if there's a little bit of echo. I have this my camera on the drum, my djembe. So, okay. So my family and stuff's from Santa Rosa, California, St. Rose, okay? There's also a school there, St. Rose, and in front of it is the church, St. Rose. My mom just posted how there was some arson done to St. Rose Church. It's a stone church. It's the oldest church in Santa Rosa. St. Rose, okay? Santa Rosa, St. Rose. His twin flame, Archangel Revelations and Prophecies, his twin flames, Rose. He keeps getting Rose, okay? About a year ago, I had this dream, and this is right after my Kundalini awakening and all my intuition came back. I had this dream where there was like this complex of people living in this, like, it seemed like an abandoned old folks home, okay, a retirement home, whatever, for like people who are convalescing, because there was like a central kitchen and then like these different wings and stuff. But it seemed like apocalyptic times, okay? All these people converging in this abandoned building. And it felt like a convalescent, like old convalescent hospital type thing, because there was like a central kitchen, like I said, and then so out on the back patio, there was like a little tent, like, you know, an awning that you usually have of, like, you know, corrugated plexiglass, whatever, kind of like a greenish thing over, making a like overhang. So there was like shaded, but it was like patio, cement patio, and there was like a little tent out there, like, you know, sometimes kids put tents in the yard, whatever. And there was a bunch of cats in the tent, and then also walking around on the cement patio. And cats represent intuition. This is my intuition coming back alive. So, and they were all tabby cats. There was like a dozen of them or something. And I had like this partner in my dream who was black, but not American black. He was, because I remember the way he dressed and his shoes and stuff. He's had like European style more dress, like these slip-on shoes and stuff. It wasn't like like an American dude. It was like, it had this like French or European kind of feel aspect to him. And he reminded me of mon fils, which is because I love tennis. He's a famous tennis player. And I just know it was Ethiopian, because I know Ethiopian, the eyes, this famous chef, his last name Samuelson, he was on the Food Network, all these shows, okay. And I met two people since then, and I was like, are you Ethiopian? And he's like, and they were like, yeah, how'd you know? I'm like, the eyes, there's just something about the eyes, okay, and a certain different facial features, okay, but the eyes, okay, so I knew in my dream, and this guy was like taller, had like this refined kind of European style of dress a little bit, so it was trying to tell me that it was not an African American, okay. And with my connection with Ethiopia, and that keeps coming up, and Archangel Revelations and Prophecies keep saying stuff about Ethiopia. And this fundraiser that we did in elementary school, this song, I believe the children are our future, okay, and then another reader mentioned that song, and I haven't heard that mentioned or anywhere ever. I was thinking about the food drive that we had, like when I was like in 3rd, 4th grade or whatever, and it was for the children in Ethiopia, okay, and that song, the Michael Jackson song, so I had that synchronicity. And then I'd already been thinking about that, and Ethiopia. Okay, so this is where we come from, people, is Ethiopia, first of all. So the very important elements in my dream were the cats, the Ethiopian man, and we were driving in a big white truck somewhere, and then I woke up, but I just remembered, I was like, I should feel afraid, okay? But then I was like, no, this is my brother, this is my lover, this is my soul right here, this is like my soul family. But that trigger of like, you know, and I've never been a racist, like, I've always had, there was a time when I lived in Stockton for 5 years, the only two friends I had were two black females, okay? No, I had one Jewish friend, but she ended up like turning on me because I was in a bad dysfunctional relationship and she was judgmental and whatever. So, and I still can't find them to this day. I'm looking them up on Facebook. I had to leave this abusive relationship quick, left all my numbers, contact information behind. Irma Robinson or Lynette Cravens, if you're out there, find me. I love you. I've been trying to find you on Facebook forever since I moved out of there. Like 15 years ago. So anyway, okay, I've always had this connection and this affinity for Melanites, whatever you want to call it, okay? And same with both my parents. They've always had like really close friends who were just, and my dad was in prison for a while, and his best buddy was a black dude. My mom had a best friend when I was really young, so she used to play tennis. Okay, so anyway, this Ethiopian thing, okay? The intuition, this apocalyptic kind of feel of like us living in this abandoned place. And and two specific things about how I knew it was apocalyptic, because this older, like, white American couple, like very like well-to-do, you could tell they had like money and stuff. They were very polite and approached and were like, "Oh, we got to stay out of the city. Can we come here?" And then as soon as they said something about the city, I was down in the intersection. Okay, and the intersection represented the city. Okay, and there was bullets flying everywhere. People pop, 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 pop. Okay, from all directions. It was like a war zone. Okay, it looked like normal, but there was, I mean, it wasn't destroyed or anything, but it was just pop, 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 pop all over. And I just remember saying, "Fuck, I gotta walk through this intersection." And I just walked with God, and I just knew I was not gonna be touched by any bullets. I just knew. And I walked through, not touched, okay? So then I'm back at the facility, and I'm looking out this window, okay? And a marooner, or whatever you want to call it, you know, a person all in, you know, one of the people popping off guns in the intersection. It was a black-haired white man on a motorcycle, okay? A white man with black hair, smoking a cigarette. He got off his motorcycle, and he exhaled his cigarette smoke all over. He couldn't touch him because this rose garden was protected by a wrought iron fence, and they were all red roses, okay? He tried to blow his cigarette smoke, exhale it all over the roses, to try to destroy the roses. Nothing happened. So, and then, okay, so the thing with Santa Rosa, St. Rose, where I come from, the school, the church, the town is called St. And, so the thing on Facebook that my mom, and she's Candace, and that's a whole nother thing I'm going to go on about, but in a different one. So, let's see, let me pull this up here. Bear with me for a second. Okay. So, right here, it says, and it's about, she used to work for the Press Democrat, and this dude, LeBaron, okay, which is also LeBron, it was an article about St. Rose Church, and it says, if those old stone walls could talk, okay, it's a stone church, okay, so, and it's from LeBaron, okay. Archangel Revelations and Prophecies also mention LeBron James. I look up LeBron, it means nobleman, warrior, okay. And I don't even know sports or nothing. I don't know sports, I don't care, I know nothing about it. So, but I did used to watch late night TV, Letterman, Conan O'Brien, so I believe it was Letterman, not sure. But I specifically remember LeBron James because this really stood out to me. He was talking about his contract and how these, okay, I'll just say slave owners, slave drivers, these people who own teams and stuff, okay? And you want to say the athletes get overpaid and blah, 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 blah. it's easy to blame them because they're the face, they're the name. You know their face, you know their name, just like the actors, just like the musicians. It's easy to blame them and say, oh, they're overpaid. First of all, you don't even know how much hard work they put into that shit. They make it look easy because they're professionals, okay? It's the people at the top. You don't know their name and face. Those are the evil motherfuckers in charge that are really making the money. And you think these people are making money? That's scraps of drops in the bucket compared to what the evil motherfuckers at the top are making, okay? So, he's being interviewed by Conan or Letterman. You could look it up. It was years ago. And he's talking about his contract and how these evil motherfuckers are trying to say he's not living up to his stats, and they want to pay him less money. And he goes, oh, no. If I exceed the expectations of my statistics, my stats, how many, I think he's a basketball player, I'm not sure how many, like your good stats, right? When you're an athlete. He's like, if you're not going to pay me more when I exceed my stats, then you sure as fucking gonna pay me less if I go, because contract is contract. He's like, are you gonna pay me more if I exceed my stats? And they're like, no. And he's like, well, then you ain't gonna pay me any less if I don't live up to your stats. A contract's a contract. So that's a noble man. That's a warrior. That's someone standing in their power. Okay? Fuck what a contract says. That's not God. My contract's with God. LeBron James, his contract's with God. Okay? People. Contracts with God. Even in the Bible it says, do not worship any God. In the KJV verse, I don't even know, I was just guided to that verse, I don't even know what book it's in. But it says, do not worship any God, because it's talking about all the idolatry and satanic worshiping and offerings that the Israelites were doing and shit. Okay? That's why Jesus had to come down and that whole thing about Jesus. Okay, so it's all about the resurrection. He didn't want his identity known. I had to look up the book of Mark because my dad's name is Mark. And so I typed in, what is the significance of the book of Mark? So this person's explaining, that also led me to Ephraim and the 7 letters to the 7 churches and the 7 golden candlesticks, which I still have to study a little bit more about. But the book of Mark, basically, Mark was the storyteller, weaving together the story of Jesus. And the main point was that, Jesus didn't want his true identity known. He was not just a miracle worker and a healer. There was plenty of saints and sages who could perform miracles. And even Jesus, had to do a miracle over twice because he didn't get it right the first time. He didn't want his true identity known, which was the reanimator. Okay, he's the resurrector. And so the synchronicity with the roses and everything. Okay, and so I look up Saint Rose. And the reason why it's coming up is because, and it's Rose of Lima, which is Peru. And the feast day, the feast is what they call the day that they celebrate this patron saint, okay? So any saints, when they celebrate a saint, it's called the day of feast or the feasts. And that's August 23rd. And some Latin American, it says right here in Wikipedia, okay, Rose of Lima. I think this is Wikipedia. Is this Wikipedia? Yeah. And you can look that all up for yourself. Look up Saint Rose, and it says August 23rd is the day of feast, or August 30th in some Latin American countries. Okay. And so that's coming up soon. And not only that, so born on August 20th, she died August 15th. Alright, that's in 4 days. Her death. And the feast is celebrated the 23rd or 30th, depending. So that's why St. Rose is coming up, because it's getting close to the day's feast. And her birthday, which is or her death anniversary, excuse me, which is August 15th. Okay, my son's birthday is today. He was conceived 11/1/11, born 11 days late on 8/12/12. And blood type B positive. I thought that was so cool. And time 747, like a jet. Okay, and that's 11/11. Because whenever you see a center number and the two bookend numbers are the same, it's like a mirror. That center number is a mirror. Okay, and you get, so 747 would be 11/11. 717 would be 88. 626 would be 88. 636 would be 99. Okay, get it? All right. Because that kept coming to me, 101, 323, these numbers. Okay, and then I finally realized what the angels, it's mirror time. So, okay. Sorry if this sounds kind of scattered. So then when I look up the name LeBron, okay, when I type in LeBron just automatically comes up in the search. And it goes to, this site is called 7 Reflections. Okay, the 7 letters to the 7 churches and the 7 golden candlesticks. My son's life path number is 7. Okay, 7 days in a week, 7, 7, okay. It's the path of, it's life path number of the sage, the saints, the spiritual seeker, the truth teller, the spiritual warrior. Okay, and what LeBaron means, okay, like I said, but it was on a website called 7 Reflections. Okay, so and then there was okay, so the other day I was, Spirit's always talking through me. I'm always talking out loud. You gotta shut my window so I don't disturb my neighbors, because when I get filled with the Spirit, I just start spewing and spouting. And I meant to say, I was saying deductive reasoning and rational thought, and instead of saying, because I say that all the time, it's from philosophy class, from metaphysics. So instead of saying reason, I said read, son. Okay, so whenever that Freudian slip, whatever you want to call it, happens, look that shit up. I meant to say reason, I said read, son. And it sounded like a slave owner's name or some shit, right? Reed, son, anything son is like that English last name, son, okay? Something son, anything son, Samuel son, okay? Will son. So that's why a lot of Native American, a lot of African Americans have the name something son, okay? Because they're slave owners. They took the name of their slave owners, okay? So Will son, all that stuff, okay? So I'm like, oh, Reed son, that's some fucking racist slave owner fucker. Sorry. And so I look up Reed son, okay, and it goes to this address, this website, the New Orleans Advocate, okay, and it's talking about Walter Reed. Walter is actually the name of my father, his real name, his middle name's Mark, and then named after his father, which his first name was Walter. So it's talking about this dude Reed, okay, his last name was Reed, and this thing about him and his son, okay, and it's in New Orleans, okay. Let me just pop down here. So, and you could look it up yourself. It's called the New Orleans Advocate, and it says, after Walter Reed's son Stephen slammed with guilty verdicts, Tammany officials praise outcome as step forward. And you can just type in Reed son and it'll pop up. But it's the New Orleans Advocate, and it's talking about this case where let me read down here. The defendants were this, okay, so this dude Reed and his son were guilty of money laundering. Oh, and the photos by Sophia Germer. Sophia, okay? That's Shekinah. That's the female counterpart of God. Okay, former St. Tammany Parish DA. So St. Tammany, look up that. That kept coming to me too. So St. Pierre is the town, okay, and that is St. Peter. That's French for Peter. And this involves St. Tammany's church or hospital. And Reed, age 69, okay, karmic. So he's convicted on 18 of 19 federal counts Monday night after a 2-week public corruption trial in which prosecutors portrayed him as a greedy, grasping conniver who repeatedly sought to use his public office for private gain. So he was doing money laundering. His son had this business called Liquid something, where, you know, they like provided alcohol and stuff for and servers and everything for events. Liquid, what was it called? Anyway, it doesn't matter. They were Liquid Bread LLC. Okay, so thousands of dollars, $29,000 for bar services, blah 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 blah, and they all came back guilty. So they're guilty. Okay, of 12 of the 13 counts. And I just want to say the name of these people. Okay, so Sophia was the one who took the picture. The Assistant U.S. Attorney, Marquest Meeks, okay? So that's the Assistant U.S. Attorney that was prosecuting, okay? His last name, Meeks, and I kept getting meek, humble, humility, modesty, that essence, and so Meeks, and then U.S. Attorney Kenneth Polite. So his assistant is named Meeks, and the U.S. Attorney's last name is Polite and Meek, all right? And basically, let me just wrap up this one. It said, so St. Tammany, so maybe St. Tammany was the name of the town. Anyway, you can look up St. Tammany, and it's all about Philadelphia, the connection with Philadelphia and brotherly love, and just look it up. St. Tammany, or Tammany, is Native American, okay? He's called a saint. He was Native American. So let's see what it says down here. Wanted to see what he said about okay. Okay, so what did it say? Okay, so U.S. Attorney Polite, okay, issued a statement saying the defendant's actions were not innocent mistakes, as Walter Reed claimed in his testimony. They were crimes. As a community, we are tired of hearing and accepting excuses from public officials who violate the public trust to enrich themselves. The time for excuses is over. Okay? This is U.S. Attorney Kenneth Polite. Thank fucking God we got saints and angels in the justice system still. Okay? Or else it just would be utter and complete darkness. So, that's U.S. Attorney Polite, Kenneth Polite, saying that the time for excuses is over. The justice system worked as it should, and we can begin to put this dark moment behind us and move on. The jury has spoken. No one is above the law. Let's continue moving forward. So that's about it. I got like 5 minutes left on here. So this is just the connection with Saint Tammany, Saint Pierre, Saint Anne as well, okay, and Saint Rose. And the Ethiopian connection, the 7 letters to the 7 churches and the 7 golden candlesticks. LeBron, okay. Saint Tammany, like I said, and then Saint Anne. Okay, look at this picture. Okay, this is a Greek pictorial of Saint Anne. Okay, look how dark they are. This is Wikipedia, right? Yeah. Go to Wikipedia and type in Saint Anne and look at the Greek picture. Okay, and if you don't think we're all from Ethiopia, look at Saint Anne. This Anne, that's my name, Anna, and then my son's name is Zoshim, which is a form of Joaquin. Well, it wasn't Spanish, okay? The original was Zoshim, because that's what I got when I read the word Joaquin. And I went to San Joaquin Delta College. I lived in Stockton, which is in San Joaquin County. I know how to say that word. Zoshim came through me when I read that in a book when I was pregnant. So I know Zoshim was the original name. And Saint Anne. Those are the grandparents of Jesus. Jesus had to be of a mother who was of immaculate conception to be considered pure immaculate conception. This is just download. This is not from the Bible or nothing. That's why Anna and Zoshim had to conceive the Virgin Mary immaculately. Okay? She was called the Virgin Mary because she was of immaculate conception. And in order for Jesus to be of pure immaculate conception, he had to be of a mother who was of pure immaculate conception. And my grandmother, Edith, okay, my best friend, Eden, she couldn't get pregnant. And back in the day, they would inject the urine of the mother or supposed pregnant woman, and if the rabbit died, she was pregnant, or not, whatever, or vice versa. And they did it twice, and the rabbit either died or didn't die, whatever it was that indicated that she was not pregnant. So she prayed for 12 days with the rosaries, and she got pregnant with my dad, whose name is Mark. Okay? And the book of Mark is all about Jesus' true identity as the resurrector, the reanimator. He is the resurrection, the embodiment of the resurrection. That's about 2 minutes left on here. So there's a lot of information in this one, and all these synchronicities, all these connections, and people in my twin flame flambe, because we've been burned at the stake and drawn and quartered. I call it twin flame flambe. There's a lot for people to go research, go look all that stuff up for yourself. Most of it's on Wikipedia. But all these connections, and from like a year ago and stuff, it's all coming together. So major shit's going down. This is why we need to repent, be prepared, purify yourself, get with God, know who you are in Christ. Because the dawning of the golden age is here, people. And you want to be a part of it. All will be illuminated permanently. This is what's happening. So, I got about 1 minute, what does it say? I got 1 minute 11 seconds left on here. So I'm going to leave it at that. And I'll be doing another video about some other synchronicities and the black elk dream that I had, and the story of the piece of black obsidian, how that came to be in my possession. So that'll be another video, and just want to say I love you all, bless you all. It's all happening in an awesome way, okay? God is so good, and we need to know that, like, faith being fact. Faith as fact. That's what the essence is right now. Your faith needs to be like fact, okay? And not in an artifact outside of you. It needs to be in your heart as fact. Scientific fact, okay? Blessings. Okay, again, blessings. I love you all. Love, love, love. Blessings, blessings, blessings. Until next